Hey, it's Carrie Flatla here at Carrie Flatland Associates and Remax Real Estate Lethbridge. So, how come you can't just walk into the bank, talk to your guy who knows a guy, get a mortgage? Like, what's the big deal? You've been at that bank for 20 years. I own 3 properties. I'm putting 20% down on the house. I got lots of money in my bank account. They know me, right? No, dear home buyer, it's not like that anymore. And I know it was like that maybe even in my generation and our parents' generation. So I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not going to say how old I am. But there was a time when the guy, the gal knew you at the bank downtown, and you could just walk in there and get a loan. No big deal, right? Fill out a few forms, shake hands, and off you go. Times have changed. Times have changed. Remember the big crash? Big real estate crash, 08, 09 in Canada, down in the United States. So here's how it works today. And a lot of my homebuyer clients, they're such good people, nice people, solid people, good credit rating, do what they say they're gonna do, keep their promises, pay their bills on time, maybe have tons of equity in 1 or 2 houses, have done all the right things with their money. But when I ask them if they're pre-approved, there's a little bit of confusion. So here's what happens is I say, look, you need to check in with your mortgage broker. Please use a mortgage broker and not the bank. Sorry, banks. The mortgage brokers do a better job for home buyers. That's another video. But when they talk to the mortgage broker inevitably, usually by email if they're not meeting in person, sends them a big long to-do list of documentation that is required, consent forms, you name it. The mortgage broker's looking for everything but your firstborn and a blood test. And it's not the mortgage broker's fault. Guess what? That's what the bank's gonna want when your purchase contract for a home goes to underwriting. So the mortgage broker's doing their diligence to assess your risk, and they're looking at your financial profile through the same lens that they are anticipating the underwriters at the lender will use. So here's some things that they're gonna ask for. There'll be a consent form. Can we pull a credit check? There'll be proof of income. How are you gonna pay the mortgage every month? Even if you've got money sitting in the bank, even if you think you're loaded, even if you've been at the bank for 25 years, they want to know where the cash is coming from on a consistent basis to make the mortgage payment and maintain the property, pay taxes, all that good stuff. They'll probably want your notice of assessment at least for the last year or 2. Are you self-employed? If you are self-employed, how do you pay yourself every month? Not the same as being employed. It's a totally different ballgame. They want to know, what other properties do you own? Do you have a line of credit outstanding? Do you have car payments? Do you still owe a mortgage on your kids' property, the condo that you bought for them to go to school? They need to understand your entire financial profile because that is how they assess you as a risk when you're borrowing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and will you be able to make your payments every single month without missing one, even if interest rates go up or there's a hardship and all those kinds of things. There's ratios that they have to plug your numbers into, debt servicing ratios. A mortgage broker said something interesting to me the other day. He said, there was a time in not so distant past when a quote equity deal pretty much meant you were going to get the loan to buy the house. So if you had a huge down payment, it wasn't very hard to get a mortgage. It's not like that now. The Office of the Superintendent for Financial Institutions in Canada wants to know what the debt servicing ratios look like, and they want your full risk profile. So don't be frustrated with your mortgage broker, and don't be frustrated with your realtor when we say, do you have a pre-approval yet? And have you sent in your documents to your mortgage professional? Because it's going to be more than a couple of questions that you're going to be asked. You're going to have to dig through your files and your paperwork and maybe talk to your accountant and go to the bank and get documents maybe you haven't been keeping track of or retaining. You're going to have to provide a lot of information. And this is ideally before we've even gone looking for a property. So mortgage brokers are also telling me this, is they're coming in on Monday morning and they have a whole bunch of files in their inbox for accepted offers on properties, and they've never even met the buyer. Like, at the very least, please have a conversation with a mortgage broker before you go looking for a home, because you're going to fall in love with a home and you're going to want to buy that home. And what if the market's hot and there's 3 other buyers at the table and your financing isn't even close to being ready? So this is happening more and more and more in a hot market. Buyers are getting ahead of their skis. Unfortunately, inexperienced realtors are getting ahead of their skis, and they're running around scribbling out offers, and the buyers aren't even close to having their financing ready. Or there's a surprise on their financial profile that is going to be a strike against them in terms of getting the mortgage, and they didn't know that, such as having mortgages on too many properties and you got to get your name off of one of them. That's not easy to do. The bank isn't just going to stroke your name right off of a mortgage and off the land title. It is not a matter of a phone call. Nothing is a matter of a phone call. And this brings me to one other point that I need to remind home buyers of, is the person at the bank or the person that your mom and dad banked with, even if they still work there, they no longer hold the keys to the mortgage pre-approval. Everything has to go to head office, usually in Toronto. So the person working at the bank often doesn't have as much control over the mortgage file as they would have had, say, 25 years ago. Times have changed. The banks are massive financial institutions. Massive financial institutions. And whether we like it or not, a handshake ain't gonna cut it anymore. And knowing a guy ain't gonna cut it. And having lots of money even ain't gonna cut it. So I'm sorry to tell you that, but doing your homework now, getting your documents to your mortgage professional early before you go looking for a home is going to save you so much heartache. And especially in today's hot market, sellers are very reluctant to tie up their property for a buyer that is not on solid financial footing. I've said it before, when I receive an offer and I'm representing the homeowner, I'm going to ask the realtor, tell me about your buyer's financing. And I want to hear a good story. So if you have any questions about how that works and how to be strategic with your financing when you're looking for your dream home, give me a call or shoot me a text, 382-7335. In the meantime, have an awesome long Labor Day weekend. We'll see you for next Friday Fire. Take care.